What's going on, guys? I'm Andrew.
I'm Jason.
And this is Movie Stores.
Today we're doing our spoiler review for Jungle Book.
Alright, so before we even get into it, I just want to say I love the 1967 film a lot. Now, I'm going to make some comparisons in this spoiler review that might make it seem like I'm favoring, this movie over that movie, but I just want to make it clear, I love the 1967 one, and I understand it was a film that was for that time, but I'm just going to, kind of go over what I liked more about this film that it added to. So, I just
am I wrong in saying that you actually like this movie better than that movie?
Yes, you are not wrong.
So if you have comparisons that make it seem like you like that movie, it's because you actually do.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I just want to make it clear, I love them both, but I'm just it might seem like, that I don't love the other one, but I do, I really do.
Yeah, so. I mean, I definitely like that 1967 animated version, but this film just is, I think, way better, just because there's way more character depth, and there's way more going on in the movie. That movie is kind of a little bit slow in some parts, and this movie is, like, pretty fast-paced the whole time, I would say.
Oh, yeah, definitely. No, I mean, I've seen the film twice now, and both times it was really quick, and it was really fast, hour and 55 minutes, or whatever it was. So, no, definitely I agree with you. Now, as we mentioned in our other review, non-spoiler review, which you'll find in the description, the film is being directed by Jon Favreau. He did the first two Iron Man films, and Zathura, and also Elf. He did a masterful job, and I just want to say first and foremost, I want to see Magic Kingdom. I think that's going to be his next project. That sounds intriguing. I really hope he gets to do the Star Wars standalone Obi-Wan Kenobi film.
Yeah, I think he would kill that.
Yeah, and he's a diehard Star Wars fan, and I mean, just from most of the films he does, he loves the properties that he works on. He gives it his all. And I know he's had some misfires in other people's minds, but a couple movies. But overall, I've loved him just about all his films for the most part.
Yeah, it seems like he really does his research, and he really cares about all the little details in all these movies, especially in this movie.
All right, so right when the film starts, we got this incredible new look at the opening logos. It starts with, like, the fireworks going up, and there's a boat or a train coming through.
Yeah, I noticed this, too, right away. The opening Disney logo with the castle. It's the best one I've ever seen. Yeah, I love it.
I completely agree. And I mean, I hope they do it in all their films, but especially, all these live animated films that they're coming up with that are coming, from the animated Disney films.
Yeah, and I'd say it has nothing to do with the movie, except it actually goes right into the movie from there. Like, it pulls out, and then it shows, like, the river in the jungle or something. It goes like right into the movie, so I thought that was cool.
Yeah, and just adding to that too, the cinematography on this movie by Bill Pope, it's incredible, and I really hope he gets nominated, because some of the best work I've ever seen in any movie, just moving along with the action or when they were still, I never got the feeling like there was any shaky cam or anything, and I felt like I was really moving along with the characters, especially when Mowgli was moving along in the jungle. I really felt like we were moving along with him.
Yeah, and it made scenes just when he's running through in that opening scene when he's like running with the wolves. Just some great shots of all different angles just to make just a kid running seem really interesting.
Yeah.
And they kind of made it seem like he was running from something, even though he was happened to be running with the wolves. But
right.
I kind of like that how they kind of made you feel suspenseful right in the very beginning, just like, oh, this movie's going right now.
Right. So, no, I completely agree. And now, being someone who has to watch the trailers, I knew immediately it was Bagheera from all the trailers we had watched. But I completely agree with you. Had I not seen the trailers, I definitely would have felt a lot more suspenseful in that moment. But good call, absolutely. Now, I want to go over a couple of differences that are in this and from the animated film. Like, first, from the very beginning, Shere Khan in the animated film, he's not introduced until like 2/3 of the way through that film. And I mean, there's only like 25-30 minutes left to go in the film or such when he's introduced. So I love how right away they bring him in the first, like 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, first 10 or 15 minutes.
I think when they're on the when the water truce is happening, and then we see him up in the
I thought that was actually a really cool thing that they did. It kind of like showing you, teaching you about the animal kingdom. They know that when there's no water and they all have to come to this one watering hole, that the animals have a full-on truce that is known between everybody, and even Shere Khan will come, and he knows that he can't kill anybody there. But yeah, they bring him in right away, and they make him seem very menacing away. You're already afraid of him, like, right from the very beginning of the movie.
Right. No, absolutely. And two, in the animated film, we hear that Shere Khan hates man, and it was just dialogue. We can understand why. They say because man hunts and man has the red amber, or the red flower, which is fire. No, it's totally understandable. But in this, you see the scar right on him. You're
love
like,
that.
And right when you see that, and he's like, may I remind you how dangerous man is, and then it zooms in on his eye. You're like, I understand right away why this character despises man and wants man dead right away. So, like, I thought that was a really good, just like character motivation right there for Shere Khan. And sorry, go ahead.
I totally agree, and they establish a lot of things these early scenes too, like when Mowgli's using that bowl to scoop up the water, and his dad says, "No, can't use any of your tricks." Yeah, Akela, you can't use any of your tricks.
No more tricks.
Akela tells him that. Bagheera tells him that. I think Raksha even says that. His mom.
Yeah, Lupita Nyong'o, who just came off playing Maz Kanata in Star Wars. She's doing a lot of motion capture CGI work.
Yeah.
She's in. I love, and the scenes between her and Mowgli. That scene where
very heartfelt.
Yeah, the one scene where Mowgli has to, and again, the wolves are in the animated film after the first 5 minutes. I don't think I think they're just done with the wolves in the '67 animated film. In this, the wolves play such a much bigger role. You know, they're the protection of Mowgli. He's in their pack now. You know, with Akela and Raksha as his mother, and the scenes where they're together, especially the scene where he makes the decision to leave. When he's saying goodbye to her, I'm not gonna lie, both times I kind of teared up. It was really heartfelt, and also too, what I loved about this too, in the animated film, Mowgli didn't know when Bagheera was taking him away. He didn't know until Bagheera told him. In this, he made the decision. He wanted to protect his family and his pack. He didn't want anyone to get hurt over him, and it just shows a maturity level that this Mowgli has that the other one didn't. And again, I understand it's '67. It's a different time. It was made more for kids. I get it, but I like the maturity of I like this Mowgli a lot better than that version. Just because...
he made the conscious decision to leave because he thought he was protecting his family. And I also like how they established the little like wolf pups too, because it makes him feel like part of the family, his little brothers.
Yeah, absolutely, Great.
And it kind of makes you a little fearful, like when Kaa actually comes back to the pack, and then he's talking to the little pups.
Shere Khan?
Shere Khan.
You said Kaa.
I said Kaa, sorry. I meant Shere Khan.
Where was that scene? I would have loved for that scene.
Yeah, Shere Khan comes back, and is like talking to the little puppies, and he like holds one back, and you're like, shit, he's not gonna, no way he's gonna kill one. I'm like, I was thinking in my mind, this movie's rated PG, there's no way he's killing this little puppy. But,
if that was the Andy Serkis one, I could see him mauling that little thing. But no, and my heart stopped for a sec when he held it. But no, this movie did a lot, even though it was, like you said, PG, there were definitely moments when he grabs Akela and and what I liked about and what I liked about that what it established on Shere Khan, the stakes are really high. I mean, this tiger is dangerous, and he is hunting and trying to kill Mowgli. And again, in the other version, like I said, he was only in it 2/3, and you didn't see him kill a wolf or kill anything like this to establish how dead serious he was on getting Mowgli. And also too, what I liked about this version, where Shere Khan and Mowgli are introduced in the first 10-15 minutes, and the other one, he had to hear a conversation from Bagheera and the elephants, you know, kind of talking like, there's a man cub here named Mowgli.
And he's just not very scary in that movie. Maybe at the very end,
when he's trying to bite Mowgli and bite Baloo, I thought
he's fighting Baloo. But just other than that,
he's more casual.
He's just like, I'm the king of the jungle. I just walk around, do whatever I want to do.
This one is scary. Yeah. I mean,
Idris Elba just totally embodies this character, gives him power, and just gives him...
again, I viewed this twice, and I said in the non-spoiler review, I didn't think I said it was breathtaking and astonishing. I didn't know if it was up to Avatar. I think it could be right there up to Avatar levels in terms of motion capture. It's incredible.
It feels like the real animals.
It really does. It's incredible. The way they move, the way they express their faces, the way they roar, the way they run through the jungle. It just feels so authentic, organic, and real. It's incredible.
You don't feel like it's a soundstage in Los Angeles. You feel like you're in the jungle.
Oh, absolutely. That's I mean, like, when I'm not going to lie to you, when they said they were making this film just on a soundstage, they're not really going to the jungle, I really kind of was thinking Star Wars prequels in the back of my head, just all CGI. And, dude, this is going to feel like they're just on a bunch of sets. It feels like they are in the jungle every single scene. Like, and again, in the non-spoiler review, I said it really felt like they were in, like, kind of in Predator, where just that jungle setting where the jungle plays like a character. It was incredible. I've never really felt like that IMAX 3D experience where I'm truly in the jungle like I did with this film. It was astonishing. All right, so we got to talk about Neel Sethi playing Mowgli. Now, obviously, I don't think any of us had ever heard of this kid. This is basically his first feature film. He is amazing. He is Mowgli. I mean, first of all, he looks like the Mowgli in the 67 version.
He really does.
But again, this movie could have been as good as it was with the great script it had, with the amazing director it had in Jon Favreau, with all the great motion capture and the CGI. Could have had all that. It would have fell apart if this kid was not as good as he was, and we didn't buy and believe that this kid was Mowgli. And you got to remember too, this kid, when he's working in this film, he's not talking to real animals.
He's talking to nothing
He's
and little puppets and
like
stuff.
little puppets, tennis balls, and it's his first feature film. And this is not like a little indie film. This is The Jungle Book. This is a tentpole Disney film. So I mean, this kid had enormous pressure, and he delivered. And I can't wait to see more stuff from him. And I gotta say too, really quick, some of the stuff, like really quick, we talked about the character depth of Mowgli that we loved in this. I love just the angle of how they were really alluded to how he's into tool building. And
yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, they established it from the very beginning, like I said earlier, with him like using the bowl to scoop up the water, and then you see him later on, using rope and like tools to cut when he's trying to get down the honey with Baloo. Yeah. And I like how Baloo also encourages him to use the tools, whereas Bagheera and his wolf pack tell him not to use them at all. So that was a nice character building moment between those two characters. But back to Neel Sethi, he did a great job of like some seasoned actors can't work like with talking to nobody and look like they're talking to somebody. Where he, for the most part, like maybe there were a couple times where it looked like he was looking at nothing or was looking around, but for the most part, he looked like he was looking directly at them. And honestly, hats off to Jon Favreau too. He's really good at working with young actors, and he got the best out of this
Absolutely.
kid.
No, with Zathura, Elf, no, he's very good at working with you. It's a great point you made. He is fantastic, and this movie just proves and points that, like, for sure, even more so. So, no, this kid stands out, and I really can't wait to see more stuff. And also, too, they announced a sequel to this, so, you know, if that is true, I'm obviously we're both going to be really excited to see that, because they definitely, at the end of this, left it very open for a sequel, so.
Well, yeah, because, like, in the 67 version, he goes back and actually goes back to the Man Village with that girl that he sees, but in this one, they just left it with him hanging out with Bagheera and Baloo, so they definitely could go into some of that.
Right. No, definitely.
So maybe that will be more like the book where, you know, because in the book he goes to the Man Village, but they kind of reject him, so he goes back to the jungle, and then it kind of exacts revenge on the Man Village. So, I mean, this is probably still going to be PG if they do it number 2, but it'll be interesting to see what they do from there.
No, for sure. We got to talk about Kaa, voiced by Scarlett Johansson. Now, I got to say, the scene we got of Kaa, it's only one scene, I really enjoyed it, but my only problem with it was there's only one scene. I would have loved even just one more scene would have made me happy, because the whole point of Kaa's scene was so we could get a Baloo introduction, and which was different from the 67. You know, Bagheera comes in there to say it's when they're sleeping on the branch, and that's when Kaa kind of intervenes, and then Bagheera saves Mowgli from being eaten or hypnotized. By the way, when Kaa does the hypnotic gaze,
the eyes look so good.
It was amazing. It made me feel so nostalgic, just like the 67 version when Winnie the Pooh is doing the gaze on Mowgli.
I was expecting Mowgli's eyes to turn all certain colors too, but they didn't do that.
Yeah, I thought when they zoomed in on Mowgli's eyes, I was actually waiting. If they would have done that, I would have freaked out. But no, the Kaa's eyes, that was enough. But no, that's a good call. They should have done Mowgli's eyes.
I love the way Kaa looks. I think it's actually one of the better looking ones. But I really wish they would have had at least one more scene with him or her.
And also, too, Kaa established something that didn't happen in the 67 version. Because in the 67 animated film, it was kind of Bagheera was narrating at the beginning and saying that he found, we saw like a broken ship.
Yeah, broken boat.
Or broken boat, excuse me. And we see Mowgli's on there and Bagheera finds him there. In this, we see that Mowgli's father has Mowgli. They're in a cave, I believe. And Shere Khan, oh God, that shot of Shere Khan creeping up. It was frightening shot. And then like his father has the red flower fire, and he kind of like burns a little bit of Shere Khan right as he kind of like kills the dad. But Shere Khan, because he got blinded and hit with the fire, he didn't notice Mowgli there and ran off. And then we see Mowgli meet Bagheera for the first time. I don't know. I kind of like this better just because it gives Shere Khan and Mowgli a history together, and also gives Mowgli more character depth, or rather character motivation, in wanting to come back and get Shere Khan for what he did to his father, and also now what he's done to his other father, Akela.
Yeah, it just establishes that ground much more than it did in the original film. And in the original film, there's actually a scene between Kaa and Shere Khan that I would have loved to see in this movie.
Absolutely.
It would have been sick to see those two in this movie at least have some sort of dialogue.
One scene.
Because Kaa is kind of foiled pretty quickly by Baloo, but maybe it could have helped Shere Khan find Mowgli or something. But I would have liked to see that.
And what they could have done too, because Kaa's scene was basically it was just one long scene, and that
It
was
was
it.
some exposition,
Yeah,
but I like the way it was done.
Well, yeah, it was exposition to show again, so Baloo could come in, and also to show how Shere Khan killed Mowgli's father, and how Mowgli winded up in the jungle alone. So no, I got that, but I mean honestly, Shere Khan or Bagheera could have told him that story. So if you're just gonna show Khan one scene, again, better than nothing. But I would have liked this. Just back to your point, just show one scene of Kaa, or show that same scene of Kaa where she's got Mowgli, then cut back to something else, like something else in another part of the jungle, and then come back and see Shere Khan because he was just hunting Mowgli.
Yeah.
You know, and oh, by the way, when Shere Khan gets hit by the herd, it really made me think of the Lion King.
Definitely.
When Mufasa gets hit by the herd, and then when the herd is
Mowgli's
coming,
like dodging.
just the herd in general was making me think of the Lion King. And speaking of the Lion King, if they can do motion capture like this with the voices. I want James Earl Jones back as Mufasa, and even I'd be down for Jeremy Irons back as Scar. If they did that,
wow!
Oh my God, please do that, Disney.
That would be 100% like
and it's voice acting. They can do it. It's not like James Earl Jones and Jeremy Irons are too old to do voice acting.
I don't know. Jonathan Taylor Thomas would still be good for young Simba though.
Well, yeah, he'd probably have to play older Simba, but maybe Matthew Broderick would fight him on that one. So. But no, getting back to this, no, I just, with Kaa, again, I really love the scene of Kaa. The eye gaze was so nostalgic. The scene was great, and I love how Baloo, I like the introduction of Baloo and Mowgli in this one better too, because in the animated film, Mowgli's just sitting on a tree, and then, Baloo comes in,
like
it's by. Just a doo-ba-dee-doo, it's da-da-doo-ba-dee-doo, and then he just randomly sees Mowgli, which is cool. I didn't mind that at all. That's a very cute introduction. I just thought this, it's really part of the narrative and plot. It's not random. Like, he noticed something was being attacked by the snake, and he went to save it, and it gives Baloo more of a heroic kind of introduction, and I loved it.
Well, it's kind of funny, too, because Mowgli wakes up and starts screaming. He's like, because he sees a bear right in his face.
I loved it. I loved the way he screamed, too.
Yeah, no, he did a good job with that. But then, Baloo's like, oh, calm down, man, calm down. You're being attacked.
We got it, Bill Murray.
He was standout. He was a standout
for
in this
sure.
movie.
I mean,
he was great.
There were so many standouts, but he was the top of the standout for sure. He was incredible. His comedic timing was perfect in this, and when he needed to be serious, he got serious, and you bought it. But I just loved again
his delivery on almost all his lines,
and
were
also
just perfect.
His character interactions with Mowgli, perfect. The way they sung "Bare Necessities." And the way John Debney, the composer for this movie, the way he, remixed the score with Bare Necessity, I thought it was perfect. I loved it. It's been stuck in my head for the last 3 days. That's how good it was.
It's a great song.
Oh, no, for sure. And that scene where they're in the river and they're on top and he's on, I love those moments between them. And also, too, just a bit about Bagheera and Baloo. I love their relationship, not only between each other but with Mowgli too, because they kind of feel like the odd parents. Rather, one of them is the strict mom who is by the rules, and the other one's like the dad who just messes around, wants to have a good time. That's Baloo,
Yeah.
And Bagheera's like the strict mom. So I love that, how opposite they are towards Mowgli. But when there's danger, that's when they become the protect. I really love the way they used Baloo and Bagheera in this. It was really well done.
But yeah, and especially the scene where Mowgli gets kidnapped by the monkeys and they have to climb that huge mountain.
Oh, Baloo's
and Baloo is super scared and just not having it, and then Bagheera's like, "Come on, we have to do this for Mowgli,"
and Baloo's lying to him. I can hear a bird. That's not a good sign. I love that. It's so funny.
That is great. But it just really shows how Bagheera and Baloo are really working together for a common cause, and that's to help Mowgli, who they both care about a lot.
No, for sure. And just really quick, I got to say I saw this film twice. The first time I saw it was on Thursday night the Thursday night it came out, so there weren't really a lot of kids at that screening. But the second showing I went to see, lots of kids in the movie theater and also lots of adults. Both were laughing so much. I loved listening to the crowd laughing at moments that they were laughing at. Obviously, Baloo got the most laughs, of course. But I heard the adults laughing so much. And for people saying this is just for kids, that's fine. That's your opinion. I think it's both for kids and adults, especially like some of the violent scenes you see in this. It's not just for kids. I'd say even kids under 7. I don't know if this is actually appropriate for, because some of the
It
scenes
depends.
are
Some
violent.
kids can handle it, some kids can't. But there's definitely some moments in this movie I'm like, wait, this is a PG movie? It actually was like scary, and there's a few pop out moments, like
Yeah.
nothing like a horror film, but like
Yeah, well, Shere
stuff
Khan in
that's-
general was just
yeah.
scary enough to make it a PG-13. But no, I
yeah,
completely agree.
he's one of the most evil villains I've seen
Menacing.
in a PG movie for sure.
Definitely.
Another difference between this movie and the animated film was the elephants. In the animated film, the elephants have like a whole scene where they're, it's all like they're in a military assembly line, and then the leader's just talking to them and trying to make Mowgli like be all proper and stuff. But I thought that kind of slowed down the movie a little bit. Whereas in this film, they just show them walking by, and Bagheera is telling Mowgli he has to bow their heads because they're the ones who created the jungle for everybody, which I thought was cool. It made it kind of go by a little bit quicker, and it also established that these elephants have, high clout and power within the jungle, and that they need to be respected.
That scene where Mowgli has to, when Mowgli was running in there to grab his tools, I immediately knew, because I didn't see the baby elephant anywhere.
Yeah.
But I love that, because a lot of people were very suspenseful at that moment. But when he brings the elephant up, and you can see the respect and the love from the other elephants towards Mowgli, and then back with their baby elephant, and then you can see Bagheera and Baloo's face towards Mowgli, like, wow, what a brave kid. And then Baloo's line, see, I told you, he's special. And then Bagheera says, I know he's special. I raised him.
That was a great scene.
Great scene.
And it really establishes Mowgli as like being very resourceful,
yes,
and great at using his tools, which is what a man is. So.
Yeah, I agree. And not only resourceful, but he doesn't panic in moments of despair and like when in need. He thinks really quickly on his toes and figures out he's a problem solver really quick, and that's why I love this Mowgli a lot more than I did and I still love the animated one, but I like this one. Has so much more going on.
This Mowgli just gets so much more character depth, whereas that Mowgli kind of is just there.
Yeah, no, definitely. I gotta say though, I really miss seeing the vultures in this. I love those vultures. They're so funny.
I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. We gotta get going.
Yeah, I love
comedy.
Yeah, and again, I understand why they didn't really have, because the vultures and that, they were for comedy, and also to get Mowgli when Shere Khan's chasing him, to fly him away, kind of, and also to distract Shere Khan when Mowgli has to fight him. So no, I get why, but I just, even like in the after credits stuff when they were showing all the songs, I would have loved the vulture song in the after credits. I would have been down for that if you couldn't put it in the movie, because I understood there's so much going on. There's so many other characters and animals in the film already. But I would have been down for that. Would have been so fun. And originally too, I believe those were supposed to be the Beatles in 1967.
Yeah.
I think they turned it down or something. So
I mean, yeah, but they still kind of played them with that same British accent, and they had the bowl cuts and all that.
Yeah, definitely. I want to talk about the way Baloo has to send off Mowgli in this, because after Bagheera has told him a kill has been killed, and now you have to send him off to the man. I mean, obviously Baloo didn't want to send him off. He's like, they'll make a man out of him, just like he did in the animated. I love that. But then when he says a kill has been killed, like, that's when Baloo knows, okay, this is serious. I don't want to see this boy get mauled by Shere Khan.
Shere Khan's out for blood. So.
Yeah, so, I mean, but the scene between them when he says, I'm not your friend, or whatever he said.
I don't want you around anymore.
I don't want you around anymore. It was really heartfelt. And again, that chemistry that they built with each other and their interactions, it's just so impressive and so incredible. And I can't believe it's motion capture. It's incredible. All right, so then we get into the monkeys, and there we get to meet King Louie, voiced by Christopher Walken.
Great choice.
Perfect. Oh, the way, kid, I got ears. My ears got ears. I love Christopher Walken. It is so perfect. And I know we talked a lot about motion capture, but just looking at King Louie's face, I felt like it was Christopher Walken looking at him almost. So just the eyes and like the expressive
motion capture.
Yeah, I know, but just it's incredible how it's incredible. So but the scene in there, it's great. Obviously, it's very like in the animated film where King Louie, wants Mowgli for the red flower, for fire, because he knows with fire he can rule anything in the jungle. So I love how they went with that take of it, and then the way Baloo intervenes when he comes in, like, and starts talking about, like, I've always wanted to meet whatever they were called,
the king or whatever.
Yeah, just the crap he was talking was so funny. And then Bagheera was trying to lead Mowgli off to the side, and then the whole action. We got to talk the action in this film.
Oh yeah,
incredible. Obviously, there's a lot more action in this than in the '67 film. And again, the '67 film is, and again, like most Disney animated films, very short and very quick. I don't believe it. I think it's like an hour and like 15 minutes or so. So, but the action in this is astounding and incredible. That scene where King Louie is running through the temple and like just plowing through the pillars. Wow, it
I
was
love
just
that scene too. Yeah, and Christopher Walken does a pretty good job, during when King Louie's all angry and stuff too, because you don't really see him play that kind of stuff. I guess sometimes, but I thought, yeah, during that scene where he's just running through and breaking down all the pillars, you're like, oh, this
oh,
whole
it's
thing,
coming down.
this temple is going
just
down.
like in the anime where he's holding it down, So, oh no, right when when he broke the first pillar, I knew right away this thing is coming down, and the effects the visual effects when it came down. Awesome. I was a little confused. So I know Mowgli jumped into a tree, and then all of a sudden they were on the ground when I thought they were like 200 feet in the air. It was a little confusing, but whatever, just a nitpick. Anyways, that whole sequence and King Louie, incredible. I really honestly, I can't think of a single scene or moment where I wasn't entertained or finding myself intrigued about what's going on here or feeling fearful for Mowgli about what's going on in this scene. Just something is always going on that's very interesting and integral to the plot. I'd say only the Kaa scene,
well, it's just that we wanted more. That's the only thing.
Yeah, we just wanted more. I'm not saying it's not integral to the plot, but we wanted just more Kaa. Maybe one more. Shere Khan Kaa. Oh,
that would have been great.
Now we don't get it because obviously Shere Khan dies in this, so we're going to get to in a second. But we got to get into the climax of this film. Now, in the climax of the animated film, Mowgli is speaking with the vultures, excuse me. And great scene, I love it. And Shere Khan randomly finds Mowgli. Cool, it's great. I love the scene, and Baloo comes there to save the day, and Bagheera is there too. But I like this more because it shows Mowgli's bravery when he finds out from King Louie that Akela has been killed, and he decides to come back for Shere Khan. And first, obviously, he goes to the man village. By the way, that sequence of the fire in IMAX 3D was incredible, seeing how big the fire was. I'm like, dang, that's a big fire. But then we see Mowgli grab the fire and then run back. The music that's playing again
you see a little bit of ash drop onto
right
the
when it dropped.
floor,
I knew it was gonna spread. But John Debney's music playing when he's running back, I love that symbolic music. Showing it sounded like a heroic tone when he was running back in the jungle, like saying, "This is my jungle." And then we got Shere Khan like kind of manipulating Mowgli and manipulating the other animals and saying, because now they've all gone to the water, the Peace Rock. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think it's just the watering hole.
Yeah.
But yeah, and
because they've gotten reports from the birds that man with fire has come, or the red flower, so they all retreat to the water, to the Peace Rock rather. And Mowgli, that's where Mowgli is, and then Shere Khan starts manipulating all the other animals, saying, "See, he's not a man coming anymore. It's a man. He's got the red flower."
And you see the jungle like burning out in the distance.
And then
too,
you even see and then Mowgli goes gray, and then Gray goes like in
his little puppy brother.
Like yeah, and then Mowgli he felt it felt like man is a monster, and he felt like a monster in that moment. It was actually an incredible character moment for me, at least. Seeing how Mowgli felt there when he's holding the fire, and then when he throws the fire into the water and decides no, I'm
gonna take you face to face.
Yeah, it built up his character so much more, and then I love Shere Khan's line. That was the stupidest thing you could have done. And then I love when Baloo then intervenes and then,
epic fight between them.
But not only that, the jungle line that he called propaganda earlier in the that line was, kid, that's not life. That's propaganda.
That's not a song.
That's not a song. That's propaganda. So funny. But
yeah, but it came full circle when he recites it, and then everyone starts reciting it with him.
It's a great character arc for Baloo when he started saying that the whole speech, and it was and I love when Shere Khan's like, "Fine, you want to come between me and the man cub." Great stuff. He just felt so threatening and menacing, and I love when when Raksha's like, wolves attack, and then Mowgli's like, ah!
Yeah.
I love that. He's really like a wolf.
He's a wolf, yeah.
Yeah, no, great stuff. And then I love Bagheera's line to he tackles Mowgli really quick there, kind of like he did in the beginning, where he told him not to fight or think like a man. And then again, as you said, it's come around full circle. Now Bagheera's built the character arc after seeing him save the elephant and doing some of the other spectacular things he's done with the tool building. He says, "You can't beat him like a wolf. Fight him like a man." I love that line and the way it's delivered by Ben Kingsley. It's just perfectly delivered, and it just builds up that more of each character, and it's just a great character interaction moment again.
Definitely, and then you see Mowgli, set basically a trap for Shere Khan where he goes into that dead tree, and he sets up that rope with a little stick at the end so he can jump onto it. He basically lures Shere Khan into the dead tree.
Dude, that was a great scene.
And he brings him out onto the branch that he knows will break from his weight and just jumps off.
The visual effects of the fire, it's incredible.
Oh, yeah.
But just adding to what you just said, again, it shows how smart, resourceful this Mowgli is. The other Mowgli, all he did, which is cool.
He tied a burning branch to his tail.
He tied a burning branch.
And Shere Khan doesn't even die; he just runs off.
He just runs off, and I mean, I kept on thinking after that, and I know they made the Jungle Book 2, but before the Jungle Book 2 ever came out, I was always wondering, like, is Mowgli gonna be okay? Shere Khan's still out there, but no, I like what this one did, and then Shere Khan said a line about killing Akela and killing his father, and in that moment, like, you really wanted Shere Khan dead.
Yeah.
So I just, again, Idris Elba, fantastic. He did an amazing job. And I'm got to say, I can't wait to see Benedict Cumberbatch as Shere Khan also. That's going to be very interesting because...
In the Andy Serkis version.
Yeah, thank you. In the Andy Serkis version that comes out in 2 years, because Benedict Cumberbatch, he's got one of those voices that's just incredible. And
well,
also,
if he plays it like he plays Khan in Star Trek Into Darkness, that would be great.
How about
Smog
too?
Yeah.
Well, thief. No, like, he's so menacing. He's perfect for Shere Khan, but so is Idris Elba. So I'm just saying, it's going to be very interesting because it's very obvious that a movie that's called The Jungle Book, as we're comparing to the '67 film, this is going to be very much compared to the other film, to this film. This film and the 2019 Andy Serkis film, they're going to be compared with each other so much. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see. All right, so as you can tell, I love this movie. It's amazing. I've seen it twice now, and the second time it was even better for me. It's really fast-paced. The direction is amazing. The lead is a star in the making. He's Mowgli. The voice talent is incredible. All the dialogue is phenomenal. Great script. I believe it was Justin Marks who wrote it. Fantastic. Bill Pope, director of photography. Fantastic. John Debney, the composer. Phenomenal. I'm still going to stick with my score of 9.8 out of 10.
This movie does a great job of really just bringing all these characters to life. So much character depth. Pretty simple story, but it was all it needed to be. You didn't need some convoluted, crazy story. They did a good job of keeping it similar to the 1967 version while giving it its own thing and its own life. Definitely. I'm going to stay with my score of 9 out of 10. Alright guys, well that's going to do it for this video. Let us know what you thought about this movie in the comments section, and if you like these videos, you can hit the subscribe button.
See you guys next time.